comes from, whether it's from a farm or if it's a chef or an artisan, primarily through social media strategies and publications. So if you do give a damn and you need help telling your story, Melissa at CorbinandtheDell.com.
Well, I'm Nicole, and this is my husband Nick, and we're from Dublin Urban Farm, like you said. We have a small farm located in Inglewood. We have 2 growing spaces. One is situated on 1/2 acre, and the other one is on 1 acre. We run a 6-family CSA. People pay us a fee weekly to get a 1/4 bushel of our harvest. We teach homesteading classes, work with a homeschool group, but our main focus is to just teach people that they can farm in the heart of the city.
I'm Nick, and we, like she said, we have a couple growing spaces, and it started, I guess, about 5 or 6 years ago. We had one little 4x12 raised bed, and the next year we're like, well, we should have a couple more of these, and the next year we were like, well, maybe we can do a little more. Maybe this isn't enough, and now we have probably if you put it all together, probably a 1/2 acre of growing space where things are growing, not including the space around it and everything. It's been really exciting. I have to give the credit to Nicole. It was her vision. I'm just kind of digging, scooping, getting dirty with it, and figuring out what we're, kind of taking instruction and direction, and because she's truly the heart and soul of Dublin Urban Farm. It's been really amazing, and she also works a full-time job in addition to that, so it takes a lot of dedication and time. We both have backgrounds. She grew up with her great granny's garden and hanging out in the swing and doing that with her great grandmother. And both of my parents are from farms in southern Indiana, which is quite different than what we're doing, I have to say. So we both have that influence. It's just a little bit different, but it's been really awesome. They've both been great resources for us, and that's kind of where we're at. And I will say too that I didn't know that you could do in the city. I didn't know you could do what we're doing, and I think that's part of our mission is for people to know that even if you have a couple 5-gallon buckets, you can buy some, or you can grow some food out of that. If you just have a little patio, you can put something out there. You don't need a lot of space. And we were amazed in our first bed how much food we got out of that little bitty space. So we don't have to, our food doesn't grow in a supermarket. And we can do it outside, and you get a lot of satisfaction of growing your food, going outside, picking it, bringing it in, and eating it. It's pretty awesome. So.
And I guess that's part of what makes us unconventional, like what you said, since we're in the middle of the city. And some of the practices we use, we do manual tilling. We don't use machines. We do organic practices, so we hand pick all the bugs off of our veggies. We use raised beds and rows intertwined. We're turning our front yard into an edible front yard, which we hope the neighbors are okay with. We use rain barrels, so I guess those are some of the more unconventional methods.
Next on the list is Margot. Could you share a little bit about the challenges of sourcing local ingredients, and then your thoughts on how to bring more farms to the table of Nashville restaurants?
Sure. Well, I grew up here in Nashville on the other side of the river in Westmead. Went to Hillwood High School, and then went to UT, went to the Culinary Institute of America, and then went to New York City, and where food is at your fingertips, fresh food, all kinds of different food. So then I came back to Nashville in the winter of 1995 and found that we hadn't really gone very far from the 10 years I had been gone. Had real hard time getting the same quality of ingredients that I got in New York, the same kinds of ingredients. So I was very spoiled by the farmers markets and all over the city, really, from the food coming down from the Hudson Valley, and already the artisan movement there was well underway, whereas here we just didn't even know what that word meant. So I had a couple of years of real struggle times over at F. Scott's before I opened the restaurant, and really just made every effort to contact anybody, because when I grew up here, Brentwood was not Brentwood. It was green, lush pasture lands, and Outriver Road was just nothing, and anywhere outside the city was just green, beautiful land, and now it's, well, you know what it is. I'm not going to get on that bandwagon, but so I made contact actually with a farmer that I still have to this very day, who I'm proud to say grows nearly exclusively for me in Tannacomra at Eaton's Creek Organics. But I also met a lot of other farmers along the way. Some I still have do business with, and some I don't. And I don't want y'all to get mad, but the thing about local farmers is they don't realize how hard it is to farm. And they get started on it, and then they go, wow, it's just a lot of work, and I'm not really making a ton of money, and I got to throw in the towel. So there have been a lot of people that have done beautiful things, but it hasn't really been that long lasting. And then you have you want to buy from the people, but the people are, what's a nice way? They're not as reliable and responsible to you as another business person might be. So we've got, well, and then it's Mother Nature. You know, they're at the, beck and call of Mother Nature. So if they were expecting things to be ready by a certain time and then they weren't, and you're expecting them to have that for you and they don't, and customers are coming in the door and you're waiting for the truck to get there at 5 o'clock because, well, my son had to help me pick the potatoes, and you're like, well, I need to cook the potatoes. So it's a big, crazy cycle you can get into with the local farmers. But I think that what's happened is now that almost 20 years have gone by, we have a lot more local farmers, so you can really pick and choose, like these guys do great lettuces, this place does this well. Now we have Nashville Grown, which is a co-op, and they have a fancy website, which is great for businesses who want to go on and dink, 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 and they do their ordering like that, as opposed to guy pulls up with a truckload of whatever at 6 o'clock when you're about to start serving dinner, which I'm still open to looking at, by the way. I get a lot of people who just show up and go, I got a lot of rosemary, you want it? And I'm like, well, let me see. I mean, I've done a lot. People from the neighborhood are like, I have too many of these things, and I might just send them your way, is what I might do.
Yes, please do.
So that is I don't want to buy from Cisco, no offense, Cisco people, but we don't want to buy from big companies, the fresh produce and things like that. We'd love to get it all local. But then you also have where'd this winter come from this last year, where you can't grow grass. Speaking of rosemary, all my rosemary died. These really mature plants just boom, wiped out from the extended cold season we had this year. So there's that catch-22. So there's a lot of, it's a delicate balance of, and then if you say, okay, Cisco or whoever, big corporate people, we're going to ditch you all through the summer, then they might not want to pick you back up come fall, winter and help you out. So, you just have to teeter-totter right there in the middle. But there are good companies. Creation Gardens out of Kentucky is really working hard trying to incorporate the local people into their business scheme. And they do Tennessee Real Milk, and of course they work with Purity and some other local folks, and they do a lot of produce. But you almost have to be, a big giant farm in order to supply someone like that, because if you're just and when I say just, no disrespect, because a half acre is a lot of work. but it's not really enough to feed or supply a produce company, you know, for however many restaurants or you know, industries that they have in their customer base. So it's a real high wire act sometimes, you know, getting food into the restaurant that's good and that's also affordable. We have a lot of local farmers, and they're like, well, it took me this long to do this, and it cost me that much to do that. So there, my tomatoes worth $12, and I'm like, no. And I mean, I'll be the first one to say I will pay more for, you know, locally grown, organic, special product. But then you have to say, will my customer pay that? You know, is that going to come out on the other side? So you have to be really careful in a lot of respects.
So just like our diet, sourcing local foods is all about balance, right?
That is a good way to wrap it up.
So I want you to tell us a little bit about the turnip truck and how they came to be here to East Nashville. And then if you could, also share a little bit about what your standards are for new products, particularly about local sources.
Okay. Well, I've only lived here for 8 years. I grew up in South Carolina and then moved out to Seattle for 12. And my husband and I decided to move here to East Nashville. And we're lucky to find Margot and the farmer's market and the turnip truck. And I started working there as a way to get to know the neighborhood. And I never left. But John Dyke opened the turnip truck in 2001, the same year. But all these other things happened. And he had lived in East Nashville for about 20 years and found himself driving across town to shop at Sunshine Grocery, which was there then. And he would see all of his neighbors, so that's why he decided it might be a good idea to have a market in East Nashville. So it's been in business for 13 years. And we have a full grocery store, produce, a lot of local products. We have about 60 vendors. We're always looking for more local products to bring in. We need everything to be natural, no artificial ingredients. And the FDA requirements have to be there for the prepackaged products. I do all the social marketing, and I research the new products. I'm kind of fielding all the information that comes, the new vendors.
So I particularly would like for you to tell just a little bit more about how you find your products when you're researching. One thing that comes to mind for me is I was asking you one day about where in the world do I find sustainably caught seafood, and you shared with me this plethora of information. Could you talk just a little bit about?
Well, we have a full meat and seafood counter over at the Gulch, and we're working to expand the East store. But all of that, they ship over daily to the East store. We are always working to get more sustainably and local. Can't really get much local seafood, but we're always working to get
Some catfish.
the best.
They call it seafood around here.
There's a great resource from the Monterey Bay Aquarium, the seafood resource. I just blanked out.
It's called a seafood
Seafood
watch.
watch list. Thank you. And that's where I always go to make my own decisions. It's a great resource, and they even have a little pocket guide you can print out.
Speaking of resources, the Nashville Farmers Market seems to be kind of a hub of local food resources in the area. And Tasha, I want you to tell a little bit about yourself and the Twitter handle, please. But then Tasha's question is, how does the Nashville Farmers Market and other community farmers markets such as the East Nashville Farmers Market work together in efforts to create access and bring local food to our community?
Well, thank you for having me today. I'm Tasha Kennard. I'm very new at the Nashville Farmers Market. I've been there since January. I'm Margot is actually our board chair. And it's an exciting time for the Nashville Farmers Market. We're in the process right now of really revitalizing and transforming the facility and our philosophy on working with merchants and sourcing merchants from local and regional farms. The market has a very rich history in the city of Nashville. It started in the 1800s, actually in buggies that would line up in front of the courthouse. I don't know how many of you know that. And they would just, load up their buggies and show up there with horses and buggies and distribute food that was grown here in this community. And it was a hub that needed a home. And so it's had several homes in the downtown area since the 1800s, and we've been in our facility since 1994. For those of you that aren't aware, we're at 900 Rosa Parks Boulevard, just across the river. We've got a 16-acre property, and 13 of those acres are part of the facility. We've got 4 farm sheds. 2 were utilized on the north side as a plant and craft shed. There's a flea market shed. And then on the south side, we have where you find most of the farmers market goods on the front and the back shed there for local and regional and large farms as well. We do have individuals that sell there year-round. We're a year-round farmers market, open 362 days out of the year. But our primary business is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's when most people visit the market to purchase their fresh fruit and vegetables, as well as meat, fish, bakery items, and artisan foods. We also have a market house, which most people are very familiar with. It's a very diverse array of restaurants and an international market inside where you can go and get your spices and any type of rice you'd ever want to enjoy, as well as enjoy meals from a variety of different international cuisines. Market and the community markets. And I think the community markets are outstanding. We have, just in Davidson County alone, in case you don't know the count, we actually have 17 community markets throughout Davidson County. Some of them are more widely known: the East Nashville Market, Hip Donaldson Market, the West End Market, the Richland Park Market. What'd you say? The Amqui Market is brand new, Nancy. And those markets, combined with the efforts of the downtown market, they create access. They take food that's local and fresh into communities to celebrate where you live, work, and play. And that's what we're all striving to do. We're trying to connect people with local and regional farmers. We're trying to educate people on the goodness of local food, and we're trying to connect the community with creating more access for low-income individuals. So all of those markets, for the most part, take SNAP. That's an important aspect. I saw some friends back in the room from the community food advocates. That is a big role of community food advocates to increase SNAP participation and enrollment in our community. So I just encourage you to, whether you're coming downtown for lunch or to shop, or you're in your neighborhood and you want to check out your community market, do it. Shop local, eat local, support your economy, and eat better.